Now we are the third day of the festival. Time goes fast. And actually our second panel for this festival is about women in a film. But which perspective, since this subject is quite huge and have a quite different approach. And we have now in the panel one lady, Regula Steiner-Tomic, actress and I can say in theater and in the film, and starting to work her project in a film. Then we have Božidar Zečević, film critics and dramaturg. Yes, and then we have and then we have Vuk Markovic, film director but scriptwriter and what we need for the movie, everything in the movie. And me, Jelena Mila, I'm one who is running this festival, but also one who is who take care about this panel and come with some kind of opinion from time to time. Well, we start yesterday with the story "What about women in a film" with Regula, and you can almost repeat what you mean when you say, "I'm starting my movie." Why?
Because I think what I had the opinion. I played in some movies in Germany and in Switzerland, but always they want to very old. If they have old people, they want little roles, old mothers or some sick old people. They like to get me a role, and then they don't want the active old people in these movies in Germany. After 50 years old, if you're a woman in a German movie, you really don't get a role. You have 2 or 3 celebrities. They make that, but all the others they don't get.
They just disappear.
No, yeah.
But is it the same in a film or in a theater or?
No, in the theater it's different. I played with 50. I played the book in Midsummer Dream and things like that. It's not. It's really different in the theater.
Okay. Then you think that the film has a little bit extra. How can I say? Suppressing woman.
In Germany, yes.
Creativity.
In Germany, also, I live in Neukölln, and that's a quarter where a lot of young people are living, and it's very party people is there. And if you are over 50, they don't see you in the streets. Even you walk to the, they don't see you. You are not visible.
Okay, but then it is a social problem. Not
it's a
only
social problem, and that's in the movie. You see that in the movie.
Okay, you mean this pattern is
yes.
like correlating with that?
Yes.
Okay, but if we are talking about production, do you think that women are present as directors, as producers? I mean, you have experience from Germany, from Switzerland. How do you feel? Do you have friends which are filmmakers? Did they feel the same, like in this branch?
Yes, but you have some more and more. You have women, director women, but a lot of them also when they are 60 or something, they have problems. They don't get. I mean, in a television, for example, I know a lady. She's in the television. She's a very good director, and now she has an age, and she has big problems. She doesn't get.
Did she work when she was younger?
Yes. Yes. But now
it's okay.
Yeah.
We have actually 2 points, like age in a woman and then just woman presence in the film branch. How do you relate this subject? I mean, it is not only female, women's question, women's presence. I mean, how do you feel about when you study? Do you have a woman in class?
Yes, we had one. colleague.
And you were like 4 or 5 in class?
6.
6, okay. And what is she doing now?
Well, she's working. I think she's.
in business.
Yes, she is, but she's actually she's sailing with a let's say huge big boat, and she's broadcasting. She says she's working for broadcasting films in the boat, like what is going on, or something like this,
documentary or reality.
Well, let's say reels and something like which advertises the voyage of the people which are in this how to say,
live program,
cruisers, yeah.
Yeah, I think that I saw some. It is like a serial of boat races,
yes,
food, I don't know.
Basically following the tourists which are participating in these tours, you know, like, so shooting. I mean, presenting their life on the boat, like they're what are doing.
She likes that.
I think she likes it, you know. But still, you know, I think that all we finished our faculty, we are all dreaming about making some features, something more, let's say, in our from our world. But that's the destiny of our let's say our choice, because it's very hard to get the funds for feature movies. So meanwhile, we need to live from something, you know. So then we are mostly living from advertising.
Yeah, a lot of you, even women.
Yes. So you know, the life doesn't spare anybody. You know, the life of the director is sometimes cruel.
Yeah. But when you are looking on the situation in Montenegro, we can say region. How do you think about it? How do you relate it to the women directors? I mean, producers.
Well, they're working, you know, so they exist. I mean, they are not suppressed, I guess, you know, but depends of the commitment that they just need, like in any profession. You know, as much committed you are in a profession, then you are going to, let's say, achieve some kind of a success. You know? But commitment is very important, and this is probably the main problem with women. I mean, in film industry, in film business, you know, because career as it is, it really needs a complete person.
Yeah.
And then in one moment, you know, this let's say female clock which is ticking, you know, always like comes to the point where woman needs to decide or career or family or kids. Yeah. And this is always, I mean, this is some kind of, I think, the crucial point where they should decide what to do. And that's maybe why they are not present so much as men, because we are privileged, as we don't have that kind of a problem. So I think, I mean, problem. Okay. I mean, in business careers, I mean, because I mean, women are also privileged. I mean, from the other side, and yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to say.
I know.
Let's say, in a basic, let's say, way.
Yeah, just how it works. Mr. Božidar, how do you relate to this subject? I mean, as a film critic, as somebody who is watching the movies,
it's like a question. The film and women sounds like when you talk about film and air.
It's like everywhere.
Yeah. Film and women is like film and fresh air or polluted air. You can discuss filmy воздух as well as filmy žene. It is, I agree, it is, let's say, current favorite topic, female in film. So that I sometimes feel um, jealous. There are no male funds that support male films that even don't exist. Did you hear for male films? No, I didn't. Or a male film festival, or a male funding, what that should be. So sometimes I feel jealous because I cannot apply for money for a male topic. It has to be female. And even in my country, in Serbia, there is state money involved in the production. If you have the female, so-called female topic or subject, and at least half of the crew of the feminine provenience, then you can get your money more easy than any other normal film crew and any other normal. What is normal? I mean, it doesn't depend on sex or gender. Let me make a point in the way that we should compare contemporary situation with antique. In antique we had paradoxes. There were no female actors, neither female writers, neither
Philosophers, poets.
Oh yes, we had some philosophers and we had some poets, like Sappho and others, but not in the tragedy, not in the theater. And on the other side, the main characters of the antique drama were female, like Electra, like Antigone, like many of them, and they were all played by men.
Great.
So it was a paradox. The females were in the audience. All this was not divided in men and women. They were mixed together. And they took part in a big celebration of theater together. So writers who were leaders of the antique theater, they knew that. And their topics, subjects were feminine. Look at our heritage, our antique heritage. It is all feminine. It is all gender in a way. Well, today we are coming back to that same paradox. We have many gendered subjects, and we produce many female films, as I may say. State is supporting that kind of orientation in production and in writing. You can get money easier than you can do for another or any other subject. But I don't see many characters of that type as in antique theater, where Iphigenia and Medea and Electra and Hecuba and others. I saw many female films in my life. My main dedication, my vocation is watching films and writing about films. So I'm going to the festivals and I see much more than the average spectator. I haven't seen those characters in today moving at all.
You mean antique profile?
That weight, that as you say, some kind of marginalized. But also you have marginalized men and discriminated or handicapped males as well. What we lack is a big figure of woman as it was in the antique theater. We don't have it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, you may interrupt.
Yeah.
Please
Riva.
come.
In German movie from Andreas Dresen, I don't know how old he is, Wolke 9, there is one, that's a type of, it's a woman from today, but that was a woman like you would like to see.
Underground.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I know, unfortunately, the best. I know the best, which we call Serbian or, let's say, regional films, which has that, which have that subject. I haven't seen a serious piece for a long time. They have all necessary signs of that question, female director. The crews are composed of female only. There are female directors of photography and female writers and female directors and female crew, and they make female films. And they come out with that label, female, but it's worse and worse. I mean, pressing that subject that way that the state does today produces counterproductive. Films are somehow emptier than they were before. So that's why I made that joke, a bitter joke at the beginning, that I feel jealous because nobody's pressing the other side, the male point of view.
Yeah.
And what to say about it? I mean, we have everything today. Female films are favorized. They are kind of main course today. And you say there are even those antique profiles of modern characters of women. But maybe this is a subject for discussion. And I'm sure Jelena could tell us more about that because she was very much involved in the subject. And I may add to some of her observations very gladly, because I have that critical experience in focusing on that subject.
Yeah, my question actually starts from, yes, I see that there is women are existing and have been existing through the history of the film, but still in one very low level. There we cannot speak about so many women in relation to the men director. If we watch statistics, my question was, for example, here when I was in this Herceg-Novi Film Festival, it was like for let's say 7, 8, 9 years, I don't remember exactly. And I came with one movie which did by one film director, woman, and asked them, please, can you take this movie? I mean, this is interesting to see. And they watched the movie. I said, no. I said, okay, why? They said, well, you know, we have already we have our creative criteria and things like that. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we are watching quality. I said, good, but this film is good. I think it's good. And he said, yeah, but, and one more thing is like, it is woman who made it, because you don't have any woman in that year. And he said, yeah, but we are not watching in gender, we are watching the film quality. And I was wondering who is watching that quality. So I during my lifetime, I find out film selectors for the festival used to be women, and always come after some stories which is like common stories. If you come with some special or extra story from the woman perspective, it is very non-present. Then you have a jury, which also used to be, now it's changing now, but we are talking last few years, especially if we are talking about, let's say, Montenegro or region, or Europe, or historically it is always made, history is made by men, on any level. So this political issue to making women more visible in the field is something which should actually be spoken and asked how we relate to that. What can we do that they are doing more? Women are divided between career and children or family, but men are also a little bit divided between career and family. Probably not in the same, mostly not in the same way. But problem is what happened with the woman after birth. I mean, birth is not all her life. I mean, birth is one period, and okay, children are rising until 20 years, let's say, and she's back in 45, 50, and suddenly nothing. You have no career, you have no nothing, and who are you? Nobody.
Yes.
So somehow my struggle, my opening this question is, can we give a little place to the woman which has no this type of man career? Why we measure everything from man's perspective? Do you know what I'm saying? Everything must be like so. I mean, I open huge questions, but anyhow, I just want to dive in or step in this way of thinking. Where is woman after birth? I mean, children birth. Why is it quit after that? Why? Because she did house good, but she's not dead. There's somewhere I think that even politics can make one step over and things like that, because people will not understand by themselves. I can imagine. I mean, from my experience and that's what we had.
Well, I have to say, as I said it before, I think it's more about. I mean, there are many actresses which continued their career after the birth, and they have to, and you can even notice when they have that pause.
Yeah.
I mean, because they are, I guess, first they're probably needed for different roles, or because their popularity.
And mindset is also
to struggle, and also their mindset is a complete commitment. So they just don't suffer. I think you as somebody who is actually trying to follow her career, you couldn't even notice when she got married or divorced or having children or not having children, whatever. But they are still they're from their young days till the older days, like in film production. So I think it only depends, maybe of popularity. Also, maybe, as I said, commitment, which is something that brings you still in the business. It does. Yeah. That's it. Their mindset. Let's say. So it's. I don't know. I mean, the topic is very complex.
Yeah, I know. That's why we are talking
and
about
there are
that.
there are so many reasons, I think, for. But still, I'm not sure if I agree with the concept of that the women are not present in the film industry. I think there are many women.
They are present, of course.
They are present. I think, and I don't feel that they are suppressed in some kind of way. As I said, maybe also is a question of how I mean, statistically, maybe more men are into this business, and that's why they are like majority.
And somehow it's always the same pattern which we are following.
Yeah.
Because when I was again this Helsinki Film Festival, same year on awarding eve, on the stage with like 50 men and one woman, like best actress, and I was like, and now we are talking about what creativity, you know.
Okay, but you have to understand that Montenegro is very particular country. I mean,
that's
first
why
of all,
we exist.
yes, and Montenegro is one of the rarest countries in the world where you have a majority of men.
Everywhere.
And everywhere is the opposite. So it's so maybe Montenegro is very, I don't know if it's a good example.
It's not. It is like how can I say?
Exception. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I'm here, and I was just really wondering, 50 men, and he said we are looking for the creativity. I said, Yeah, I see that. Okay, regular, yes?
But now in Germany, it's the opposite.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
really
I'm
the
saying.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And I think now for me the question is not, yeah, of course, men or women. I think everybody should be in this business how he can. But I think when you are older, that's the problem. Also, men. I know a director. He's about 45, and I sent him my pitch paper. And at first, he's a German, and he has a name, and he was reading and he said many good things to that, and he likes it, and he was thinking he could make that, but he can even not make his own projects because he's an old white man. He wrote me that. That's his problem. He does not have
It's New
any
Europe.
chance.
It's the second Europe.
Yes, it's the second Europe. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
The best film on women are made, I happen to disagree a little with you, are made by men.
Okay.
And
We love that.
if you remember, for instance, you must remember because you are close to what Bergman was doing. He, to my opinion, he understood women better than themselves. And if you remember his Fanny and Alexander, the whole film takes place in a female woman. The starting Christmas party in that film, it's all in red, in dark red, and whatever happens in the room, outside we have snow and Christmas atmosphere. Inside we have the warmth of the female woman. Everything takes place in the female woman, and then he gradually leads you into drama of mankind, into the drama of existence, which is still in the female woman. If you make a view to the microcosmos, which comes from the female's woman, then comes again back to the female's woman, because the dream of every man, whether female or male, is to come back to the female's womb, to the womb of his mother, as the psychoanalysis does. So then you see that there is a whole philosophy of the female principle in the film, which was done by Ingmar Bergman.
Or male directors involved.
Well, I took an extreme example because it's so obvious that he is dealing with something extra feminine. He sees the world through female eyes, from the female woman, and giving the birth and having the dad back into the woman. And all that then is a synthesis of the world, a synthesis of the universe. So if you take female womb as a universe, then you have then you have the best or ideal example of female film. Then you think about Bergman himself, you know, his Destiny with Women, you know, his whole period, with Willy Woolman and Bibi Anderson and the only man in his later phase was Erland Josephson, who also suffers from the lack of the attention as a male. And so then you come again to your question, what should be female in that film? If a male like Bergman produced it. If he came from the female womb and he came back to the female womb, and you see that in 2.5 hours of his films, then you have everything you need for a philosophy of female in the film. It deserves a book. Only that deserves a book on your question.
Actually, yes, I understand, but we must remember, Bergman is now very questionable in Sweden.
Why?
Because he's so huge, and he's so big authority that the film after Bergman died. Everybody is related to the Bergman, and now when you're watching Ruben Östlund, which won 2 Cannes in a row and things like that, something which was for me interesting was actually Persona, which is, let's say, 2 women, but if we watch privately, he was married, he had a girlfriend, which was Harriet Andersson, and the new coming woman, which is Liv Ullmann, which was pregnant. And suddenly, with that perspective, I was watching Persona and wondering, somebody's crazy here. Because Liv Ullmann is telling her own life in front of camera, in front of Älskarinna, I mean, lover of the Bergman, and she's less, Harriet Andersson, and suddenly is it, reality show? Sorry,
Yeah, of course.
reality show. She didn't came in Cannes because she was giving birth. Liv Ullmann was not in Cannes because she was giving birth while she was shooting the movie, and he was in love with Harriet. I said, sorry, I'm really questioning, is it art? Or it is too private in quite deep way? And is it misusing of actresses, private is diving in a professional? I mean, nobody's talking about that. It is not taboo, but it is he is creative and they are great actors and it's a great movie. But actually, if you're coming inside, you are seeing that he has deep relation, man-woman relation with them, somehow putting them in front of camera. And it's I was really wondering what's going on. So this movie is really great, deep, but it is actually their own history, which is very...
Or maybe you can say, is this like a Swedish model for a happy life?
Probably.
Because when you are free to do all these adventures around, so I mean, Swedish model of happy life. I heard about that. I heard about that, and I think it's okay. I mean, nobody's jealous. Everything is going fine, right?
Nobody's jealous.
They're jealous.
You don't know that.
Or jealousy is just a part of it. Or jealousy is a part of it.
But they are expressing on a different way. Something which we're missing here, we must understand. We are now funny now. We have the Nordic films here screening, and everybody, these services people. It's a Swedish film.
Yeah.
Is that? Yes, it is, but not that one. So one thing is very important to understand, which we missed here. People in Nordic countries are people of nature. And one huge part of their life, the Sweden is 1/4 or 5th part is socialized, I mean civilization. Rest is a huge country with nothing, trees, and we are talking about overwhelming of nature toward the man. They are so small toward the climate, stones, and everything. Suddenly, body in their mind is free, part of this nature. So I remember first time when I was in not a gym, one yoga place there, and the women are going, in this clothed room, and I was like, I'm a woman, I don't have, it is not hard for me to do the same, but I was a little bit more in a corner, changing myself, and then going around. They were naked going around. And I was a little bit, okay, sorry. I was not so, I was like, okay.
Part of their
She's
culture.
coming to me and speaking with me, and I was like, okay, I need a towel. So Monica, somebody with Monica, and everything is in their nature. They're going to the bath naked. Nobody has, bath there because water is nature, they're out in nature, they're just, without that swimming, everybody comes out. It is normal there. For us, it's watch them, they are free. They are not. this is something that we just must understand. But as I said, this relation between man and woman, creativity, where is the borderline of the private and the creativity, you know, that's the, and the man who is, how can I say, who is, how to say, what's the name of this, translating woman's presence is also interesting, but it is just one point of view, because probably the same story will be totally different from woman's perspective. And this perspective is something which probably is not so present as they should. It was my question. Because sometimes, you know, feminism and everything which is politically put on the creativity, it's very wrong. And that's why I'm trying to open this subject from very low perspective. How can we come closer to that? What are we thinking about that? How we relate to that?
I can say one thing. Actually, I was always wondering, and actually this is a very good maybe subject for a film. But I'm going back in prehistoric times, and because you know, as you know from the prehistoric cultures, and we were living in matriarchy.
Yes.
For a long period of time. And I was always wondering, who is that frustrated guy, man, hypocrite, who changed that course of matriarchy into the patriarchy? And why that happened? And because the men were happy in the matriarchy. You know, woman was one who was dealing with all serious questions. Everything, we were just hunting.
Yeah.
And not dealing with kids, not doing anything except hunting, you know. So we were very happy, you know.
Everything was calm. Like.
And who is that person, you know, that I would like to actually make a movie,
meet
you know,
him.
meet him, you know, and who was such a frustrated man, who turned that into the patriarchat, you know, and why? I was always actually asking.
There was not a person.
Of course.
Nobody dealt with it.
Of course, I'm just making
the centuries and centuries passed until so-called matriarchy was transformed into patriarchy, which is still a very big question whether they existed at all. Both of them, matriarchy and
yes, of course.
It's all German school of anthropology, like Bachhofen, who were devoted to the matriarchal principle of peace and love, not making any kind of war. They didn't have swords, they didn't have weapons, they didn't have anything. They loved each other. The love was the only principle that mattered. And the patriarchy came with swords and brutality, and killing and slavery and bloodshed. So it's all wrong. It's 19th century, which today anthropologists did not recognize at all. But it's another question. We shouldn't discuss it here. Whether that existed.
Okay, I just wondered how the film industry would like if we were in Macher.
My daughter.
That would be a very interesting question.
My daughter is an archaeologist and she's a specialist in Neolithic.
My father is.
So we have very close to Belgrade. We have a civilization of Vinča, which was prehistoric and civilization example of the happy world.
Yes.
They were happy. Except the wild animals, they didn't have any animals. No enemies were around. The whole idea of human conflict was something that didn't belong to that kind of civilization.
Cult was the woman, and they also kept this kind of
statues. Those women had a big glutea and big asses, you know, that
everything was big.
Everything except tits. Except tits, because tits come only in the birth period. So they have to have milk. And after that, things come back. You don't see, but what you can see the Wildorf and Neras and a Neolithic type of goddess, of the white goddess. Serbia is full of white goddesses. The whole river of Morava Valley is implanted with those figures. You can see them today in the National Museum in Belgrade and many other exhibitions. So it vanished in the end of Neolithic. And then in the Bronze Age, the big disaster started. The sword was invented.
Yes.
And then they had
First
metal,
conflicts.
and then they had
Areas to
in the Neolithic
Not yet.
times you didn't have a king.
no.
King didn't exist in
Yes,
Neolithic
of course.
times. It was somebody who was just a mayor, the one who takes care about the human relations in one small society. And he didn't have any power. He wasn't a king, he wasn't a warlord.
Yes. It was some kind of
And then the warlord came,
And then
and then it became Knight's age of coming kingdom, and the whole civilization changed. The Bronze Age era, Trojan wars started,
Yes.
and the first written words in our culture.
Yes.
So a different word started. So
This
that
process.
I come back to Bergman again. that dream about the female woman is in fact Neolithic. The dream of mankind, which didn't have war, didn't have hatred, didn't have any kind of violence. They simply didn't know, or any kind of. I wonder how the parents were related to the kids. Did they beat them or not? I spoke to my daughter many times and said, what was the way of education at that time?
No traces.
No traces. I don't believe they use violence.
No, me neither.
Any kind.
If they don't have this as an
Yes.
idea, so why should they do that?
Absolutely. And that's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
If you see today's female, they're full of violence.
Yes.
They're full of violence. They're full of forced. How should I put it? Forced.
Masculinity, actually.
Well, don't be.
I am. I used to be one. I used to be one.
Dismissive masculinity. Yes, well, you're right, but it is the
And opposite.
femininity too.
Yeah.
We suffer a few as well.
Yeah, yes, I understand, but
Yes, there are men as well as which are a bit more
yeah.
from the opposite side.
I'm
Yeah, I
joking.
know.
I'm joking.
Okay, we can take even this subject, LGBT, which is always connected to the equality, woman presence. I'm one who is dividing that huge, because woman presence is things per se. I mean, something which could not be just. But they actually liked your idea. Imagine one good comedy.
No, there's one good comedy. That's the thing. I
They
mean,
have
of course, it
extremely
didn't
good-
happen. It didn't happen, of course, by one guy. Of course, I mean,
But make
that
one
was
is a symbol.
okay. That was one of my creative ideas. Let's say if it was a one guy, so. But
I think that we can start to
develop something, something develop. Yeah, why not?
in one calm, matriarchal
Yeah.
came one,
Okay, one
and
which
in
is
his
really,
history
really-
we can put all history changes and where we are today.
It's like Mel Brooks, I mean, this is the subject for him.
Okay, Regula, how do you relate it to? I mean. This that I said, like privacy, creativity. Do you have any this kind of how can I say experience or thoughts or as I described with Bergman, the lovers and things like that? How women come to the spotlight?
of course,
There is
that's-
different.
yeah, but of course I know a lot of directors and they have women and the women played in the theater. I met a lot. But that's maybe normal. I don't know. They know this. They like this woman and they know more about them and they play the big roles. I know that, but it's not like what you told what you
Yes,
were
but
speaking
it
about
is
Bergman.
in the
It's
same
different.
part of, and do we have a woman who gave possibility to a man to come to become a star?
Yes, of course. I think so. Yes.
Do you think or you know?
I know.
Okay.
Yes, I know it very privately. You know.
Give me place.
Yeah.
Okay, well we have a key for success.
I think so. Well, I think so. Something definitely happened.
Find one man or one good woman, so you are in.
Yes, I really hope to do something about it. Because I really feel anger, that guy,
Yeah. Well, our job is emotion, our job is relation, so I mean creativity is quite tight with our personal life.
Yes. I would
It comes
definitely
out.
like, to see more women in this business. Definitely.
But how do you, for example, relate to the woman cameraman? If somebody say you have this woman to make a movie.
Why not? I really don't make any
Or
difference. For me, what is the most important thing is the quality. What they are offering. So if they are good in their profession, so why not? Why keep some kind of male gender or why don't even that is actually interesting, Sometimes, and there are more and more, let's say, female DOPs lately, as I can see, and they are very good. They are not there is no difference, between them and men.
Can I say something? Because we started with older women in movies. And I think that's a real problem and I would like to speak again about it. Because why, when women get older, it's not more interesting in a movie, mostly. Because I think it must be interesting. A woman after 50 has a lot to say, has a lot to do, and even with 70 or 80.
Is she beautiful then? Too?
Yes, and why is that not interesting? Why is it so hard? It's the scriptwriter, of course, also. And
One of the most important people, in pre-production of the film. The script is, and so depends on the roles, I think.
yeah,
Maybe there are not many roles for the women, that age.
yeah, but you can write the roles. In a movie, you write roles.
But could it be that men are not interested in older women?
Yeah, maybe it's that the older men are always interesting.
It's
but
rough.
not older
That's
women.
really rough.
Sorry.
But that's probably one of the answers, because
What could you do?
yeah.
One who is creating them.
Yes, yeah.
He's not interesting or she's not interested in older woman. So that's why woman presence is also important to give a space for a
Yes.
older guy.
And also the target of the film, which is the public.
Like product, what we are making.
Yeah. But always, you can always put some, I don't know if you are making history. You can always do some other,
But you have
some
the
older.
producer, you need a producer who is interested in that also.
Well, this subject I will leave open. If somebody has another perspective to come out with.
I think I'm done for now.
We open question. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
need to,
Okay,
we don't
yeah,
need to come to some clever
Yes,
decision.
yes,
We
yes,
should
yes,
yes,
yes.
Either you can do it too. It's so wide that you can never finish.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you open that, you can discuss it for centuries.
Yeah.
But
let's consider that a good start.
Yes, I mean, let's open the question, because I think that we are huge steps forward if we just speak about it.
Yes, but
If we are questioning ourselves and questioning, personally, I'm not for this, we should, political issue sometimes can help just rethink things. But in a longer way, it always comes to the because you got support on something which does not exist. I mean, actually. So we are, because Sweden was one who was very prominent, which is speaking about this, involving in Europe and things like that. And I was very interested in that subject. But you know, we have a problem here on that subject because we had the communism. And in communism we had the partizan, partizanka, drug, drugarica, and in communism every salary was the same. Woman director, man director. Woman chief in the industry, man chief. Worker, woman worker, man, the same salary. They are still in Sweden today, in northern Sweden, which is very prominent. Woman has, with no reason, at least 20% lower salary. Can you imagine now all this struggle, and they still didn't even move that. And when I came to Sweden, I was like, okay, equality. I was not thinking about that something for myself. But then I felt very movement, and I was in a branch, I was thinking that way. And I said, we are equal. I mean, my mother was working when I was little, my father was working, everybody, like, you know, working family, everything was like equal. And then I found out, and also one more scientific research shows Europe map, how many women on a prominent position. 2 in Sweden, 3 in Finland, 4 in France, and 17 in one part in the Balkan. And the moderator in the TV, ha ha ha, what is this land? And they said Serbia. And then ha 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 ha, you know? And I was like, what is funny there? 17 women in a leading position. It's not funny. It's something that you should listen. What you are presenting us. So.
That's because we didn't have any difference in salaries, for instance.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, we had competing for equality in earnings, and there were, the place was paid, not the person. When I say the place, I'm working the place. When you're an engineer, then you doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You get the same salary, and that was always here.
And it's still running, I think
It's
so.
still running, yes. You apply for a job, and then at the end you just mark male or female, which doesn't influence the final decision. If you're a good engineer, then you'll get that job, and be paid as much as you can. But not in Sweden. I didn't know that 20%. There is a difference.
In Germany, in West Germany, it's also like in Sweden, but in East Germany, in the ex-DDR, it was also like
the same.
Yes, that was socialism. The track of socialism. Socialism denied that social division between men and women. And that's why we inherited something good. And now it is now heritage. I don't even think about it. That I have a colleague who is paid as I am paid, or more, because she is more qualified for a job. Then I would say, okay, sure, let me be like her. Can you? That's it. We don't have it. And I think it will not change here.
We have this extreme pregnant years, you know,
Yes.
fears.
Social position of the pregnant woman
Is not
is, I think,
good for capitalism.
I think it's the best in Russia. In Russia they have many facilities, oh, being pregnant. Then you're a subject of I'm not defending Putin, but he made a law that protects first child, second child, third child, fourth child, you get the treasury. You get the treasury. You don't have to think about this. So he's stimulating the population growth, and there is a way of not interesting. China was limited to one child. One child. One child. Now they have three.
No.
And state supports three children in the family. You need money for that. And that money progresses with time and with number of children. Which is for China with, I don't know how much, 3 billion people.
Not yet 3, but they are close to 3.
Close to 3 billion people.
Yeah.
That's,
but just make this subject we are in a career. I mean, just motherhood and everything is great, but what happened with this woman after or this birth? So some kind of this kind of support could be also.
It stays protected.
Yeah.
She stays protected. She has a different social position than the other woman who is childless.
Yeah, I understand in that social way, but what should we do with creativity?
What shall we do? It's a God in God's hands. I mean,
Okay.
my name is Božidar, which means God's gift.
Yeah.
So if you are gifted by God, then you'll be
Just continue
creative.
Yeah, and struggle. That's why I think just to make a perspective of women's presence even after that, because the house with the child born birth is something which is also creative and gives them more. Okay.
That's like a lot of huge and wide.
It's huge and it's wide and it's politicized, but it's also the existential question. We are starting from a wand and come to the politics issue.
Which is not accidental at all.
No. Well,
It is connected.
Yeah, I know. But that's why we took this perspective even during this conversation. So, we leaving this question open to the next festival and next panels, which we have tomorrow about it's like spirituality and film, which we think is also important. So, see you soon at the square with the film screenings. Thank you so much. Thank you.